So 336. So from this is a very important section from the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and in this section, a very important question that is asked. Probably in one of the Gita course sessions, you would have found this particular section. So this is the question that Arjuna asks is a very, very important thing. So he asks that Atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha anichana pivarshneya baladiva niyojito. So this is the meaning of this shloka is Atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha. So even though I don't want anichana pivarshneya, so even though I don't want, so it looks like there is some force. It is just pulling me to do something wrong. What is that particular force? Have you heard about this topic in Gita course? In this Gita course? So that was covered in a very lighter way. So now we are going to see the same topic in a little more deeper way, actually. So now this is a very important and similar kind of a question that whenever I take this particular topic, so many people resonate. Yes, this is actually a problem. So even though I don't want, so I know it is wrong, but still, as if pulled by some force, I am dragged into it, right? So that is what Arjuna is actually mentioning. So he is telling, Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if dragged by force? This is something that he is asking. So this is like quite similar, to all our problems. So then now we will see Krishna's answers, to these this ones. Like we will chant the shlokas also. They have tied me into this. Okay, this is okay. Okay, so now we'll see Krishna's answers. This is very, very nice. He is telling, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Kama Yesha Krodha Yesha Rajoguna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyenam Iha Vairinam. So this is the answer that Krishna is giving. He is giving a series of answers. From this question onwards, so whatever comes in the rest of the third chapter, it is the answer to this question. So now here Krishna is telling that it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with material modes of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is all devouring sinful enemy of the world. Vidyanam iha vairinam. So vairinam means it's an enemy, right? So and what does this word lust means? So lust means trying to enjoy a property which is not ours, which doesn't belong to us. That's called lust. So this is Krishna is mentioning Kama Yesha Krodha Yesha Rajoguna Samudbhava. It is where it is coming from. It is coming from the Rajoguna. The three modes of nature is there. So in that the nature of Raja or passion. So from there this particular quality actually comes. So that is it is lust only, born of contact of passion, and then a pure soul's love for God becomes transformed into lust, when it comes in contact with the material modes of nature. So now this love of God means what? So this is the basic quality or basic qualifying criteria for anybody to be there in the spiritual world. Spiritual world ka basic criteria is love of God. And the perverted reflection of the same thing in this material world is called the lust. The very same thing, it comes as the lust. And this becomes degraded into wrath also, later on. So it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born in contact with the material modes of passion and later transformed into wrath. So which is all devouring sinful enemy of the world. So even for the intelligent people, even for the most sophisticated people, this is the thing that is actually ruling over, and this is the thing which is actually pulling a person to do something wrong, right? And then here we see that so passion, when it is engaged, Srila Prabhupada actually explains in the purport. So when the passion is engaged in the service of the Lord, it transforms into love of God. When it is not engaged in the service of the Lord, it transforms into wrath. Wrath means anger. So it actually transforms into anger. So this is the power of this one. And we will just read a little bit from the Srila Prabhupada's purport. When a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust in association with mode of passion, or in other words, the sense of love of God becomes transformed into lust, as milk in contact with a sour tamarind is transformed into yogurt. Then again, when lust is unsatisfied, it turns into wrath. Wrath is transformed into illusion, and illusion continues the material existence. Therefore, lust is the greatest enemy of the living entity, and it is lust only which induces the pure living entity to remain entangled in the material world. Wrath is the manifestation of mode of ignorance. These modes exhibit themselves as wrath and other corollaries. If therefore the mode of passion, instead of being degraded into mode of ignorance, is elevated to mode of goodness by the prescribed method of living and acting, then one can be saved from the degradation of wrath by spiritual attachment. So this is a very, very interesting this one. So we have, as living entities, we are meant to be under the shelter of the Supreme Lord. So there are two options that we have. So either we are there in the Krishna's internal potency, shelter of the internal potency of the Lord, or we can be there in the shelter of the external potency of the Lord. So we are basically a dependent entity. We don't have independent existence. We are basically a dependent entity of the Lord. And like when we are in cooperation with the Lord, so we are there in the protection of the internal potency. So internal potency means what? So potency of the spiritual world, we exist in the spiritual world, and internal potency also means we exist under the shelter of Srimati Lakshmi Devi, or Sita Mata or Radharani. So that is the internal potency. And there all the facility is provided for the service of the Lord. So like service of the Lord is very nicely facilitated. And when we don't want to be engaged in the service of the Lord, so then what's the alternate option that we have? So to be under the shelter of the material nature. So material nature means it has three potencies. What are three natures? So what is that? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And when a living entity comes in contact with the material nature, so how does he actually act in this world in different ways? Sometimes we may have seen like people, very nice people are there, well behaved, and sometimes some people are very, very cunning, very difficult to deal with and things like that. And we have also seen people who are very ignorant and things like that. So all different classes of people we see. How do these different people act in this way? Are the soul itself is wrong, or what is the wrong? Why they are acting in these different ways? Is the Lord is inducing them to act in that particular way? Or is the soul itself is corrupt? That soul will be like this only forever. Or what is the problem? Where is the problem actually? Why somebody is good, somebody is bad? Okay, because of material nature. So that's very nice. So like who has created the material nature? God. So Prakriti is material nature. So Prakriti is created by God. Prakriti is created by God. So that means if somebody is doing something bad, that means God is inducing them to do bad.
No, that's actually, they're not able to overcome of this. They begin stuck into the
material nature. And material nature is created by God. So God is indirectly pushing us to do wrong things, right?
No, they say not saying to the wrong thing, but they're not ignoring, which is, the man has a capability to decide which is good or wrong. But for a time being satisfaction, people are attracted by the...
See, I'll tell another shloka. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasaha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. So means like everything that is happening, it has been done by the Prakriti. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasaha. So everything is orchestrated by the three gunas. Mode of goodness, mode of passion and mode of ignorance. And out of ahankara, a living entity thinks he is doing things.
So wantedly.
He is just imagining he is doing, but everything is done by Prakriti.
Yes.
That's what is the conclusion of this shloka.
Yes.
So Prakriti is controlled by the Lord, and he is only doing all wrong things.
No, we can't point it out directly like that. It has a man doesn't have a capability to judge it.
Okay, so that your point is taken. We'll give choice for others also. Like any other points? Karma, from where the karma has come? So it's pulled by this material nature only we are doing. Yes, Prabhu.
Because of the energy energy that is there, and where we are getting the satisfaction, and we feel that yeah, this satisfies my thoughts better. Probably that's where we get pulled more. The tougher things is what we ignore. We tend to ignore. And spirituality is something which we find tougher and colorful. That's the reason we go in the direction of materialism more. We find that. Because I think it's also the way we all behave as a group, whether the consciousness of everybody is that let's be material, let's stop this. So it's also the joint consciousness and energy that's circulating because of this. I think this thing happens that we get pulled towards the negative side more.
Okay,
One more thing, it has been people decided to what the society is following. I want to follow the same thing as a society.
See, the society and all is different manifestations of the material nature.
Yeah.
No, see, like the root question, it is like very deeper question actually. So now we see, sense of gratification. So somebody wants to gratify their senses by feeding poor people, and somebody wants to gratify their senses by cheating other people. So why these different kinds of gratification senses? No, why these kind of variations come? And why not everybody is like, it is pulled by Prakriti, that we just saw, Prakrite Kriyamanani. So, but then why everybody is not pulled in the same kind of a way? Why somebody is pulled in a good way and somebody is pulled in a wrong way? Modes of nature. So, Lord also actually comes to that point. See, the Lord says that I am not inducing the living entity. He is very clear about it. And he also says the living entity is also not at fault. So then who's at fault? It is a system that is at fault. No? System is this three modes of nature is there. So then why Lord puts us in a faulty system? So that's also another important question that comes. Why he puts us into a faulty system? So when the living entity takes a conscious call, I don't want to serve the Lord. So then I don't want to be under the jurisdiction of the Lord. So then it becomes a very difficult thing, like there is nothing exists apart from the jurisdiction of the Lord. So everything is within the jurisdiction of the Lord. So then Lord creates the material nature where the living entity can imagine that this is not under the jurisdiction of the Lord. And then why is this three modes of nature? Because the living entity wants to imitate everything that the Lord does. And the three modes of nature gives permutation and combination for all possible things that whatever we can imitate the Supreme Lord. And whichever mode we come in contact with, Karanam Guna Sangosya, Sadasadyoni Janmashu. So whichever mode we come in contact with, we will get conditioned by that particular mode and we will act according to that particular mode. So in one sense, like literally speaking, in Srimad Bhagavatam there is a nice example that is given. It's like a strong current water, river is flowing. And if a person falls into that, what he can do? He'll just be pulled by the current of this one. In that way, we will be pulled by the current of the material nature. So, but Krishna also gives a solution to it. So that is Mam Evaya Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So when we take shelter of the Supreme Lord, we can come out of the modes of material nature. So that is possible. But then if we don't take shelter of the Supreme Lord, if we are not conscious of the existence of the Supreme Lord, and if we don't take the support of the Supreme Lord, so if we want to be there in that condition where I don't want to deal anything with the Supreme Lord, so then what happens? We are under the shelter of the material modes of nature. So we have to be under shelter of either Krishna's internal potency or Krishna's external potency. We don't have an third space to exist. No, that is not possible. No, we have to be there, either in one of these two spaces. So in this space, like Krishna says, that this space is an infected area. An infected area, you see, like if there is a particular area which is infected, so then if you go and come in contact with that area, so what will happen? So you will get affected by that virus, and then you will get, you will pick up fever and you will get, all those symptoms and all will get manifested. So in the same way, like these three modes are there, you come in contact with any one of the mode, you get infected by that particular mode, and then you act in a particular way, right? So that's all the control that you have. You just have the choice of come in contact. Even that also many times, like 99.99% of the time, like choice is not executed. So we just go in the flow, right? So now this is what is generally happening. Yes, Prabhu.
So is it Krishna in a way like judging everybody, like who's going to come both the internal potency or the external potency by by setting the entire system?
Actually, the entire system is just for giving us an opportunity to fulfill our desire. Our desire is to be separate from Krishna, and he has set it up at this one. But then he wants the living entity. This system is such a vicious system. You don't want to take my support, and without my support, you cannot come out, and you want to enter into it. So it's a very vicious game that we want to play actually. And for that reason, Krishna comes again and again, and Krishna sends the devotees again and again into the system. So like Krishna is bound, saying that, literally like, we would have, I'm just speculating this one. So we would have made a contract with him. See, like, I want to enjoy separate from you. You don't disturb me, right? So like Krishna is not going to disturb at any point in time. So Krishna's roles, if you see in this one, Anumanta, Upadrishta, Bharta, Bhokta, it's like whatever desires you have, he notes and he fulfills it. As Paramatma, he sits, and then what does he do? Like he says that Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. Like that one person, Paramatma, is Bahunam. So all the living entities, Vidadati means, Dadati means to give, Kaman means desires. So his role is to see and note what desires we have and to fulfill those desires. That's what exactly he's been doing. Like somebody may be doing good, or he's going to a very, very wrong path, or whatever it is. Krishna is just simply making note of all the desires, and he's fulfilling those desires. And if we have a desire for spiritual advancement, he will fulfill that as well. But for that, we have to come in touch with a devotee, and Krishna, that's why like he keeps sending the acharyas and different personalities into the system. So you see, like, I cannot convince the living entity. I have given a word to him. I will not disturb him. So, but you people can go and convince him that you can actually convey
the message.
Convey the message. You take shelter of the Lord. No, Lord will protect you. So like that. So that's
formula. If you just go for where the road is there, you just go for it. You will reach your target. If you overcome all this, you will be struggle feeling.
So like, this is another example is given for this. A sun and the cloud and the observer. The sun is like the Supreme Lord, and the cloud is like the Maya. And the observer in the ground, so he is not able to see the sun. And when he is not able to see the sun, and if the clouds are very thick, everything will be dark. He will not be able to see himself also. He will not be able to see other things in the world also. Everything is completely dark. So now when, like, who has created these clouds?
God.
No, in this example. No, in this example, only three entities are there: sun, cloud, and the observer. Huh? Observer created the clouds. Sun evaporates water, and it creates the clouds, right? And only sun has the capacity to dissipate the cloud. So then what is there in the capacity of the observer? Literally, he doesn't have anything, right? So, but one thing that is there is like, if he somehow or other prays to the sun, saying that, please be merciful and remove these clouds, and the sun will remove the cloud. So that's the prayer. That's the Bhakti Yoga. The process of Bhakti Yoga means to offer prayers to Krishna. I am completely incapable. It's not possible by my capacity. So, but I am taking your shelter. Please, you save me, right? So that mood is the most important thing, important component in the Bhakti Yoga actually. It's other yoga systems like Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and other systems. They have a systematic procedures which the practitioner himself can execute. And it is a long process, quite a long process, because the practitioner himself has to reach to the perfection. But the Bhakti Yoga process is considered to be fast because we take the help of the Supreme Lord. And what is difficult for the Lord to do? Anything and everything. He can just do anything and everything. So the Bhakti Yoga works in the process of, I am incapable and you please save me. That is the formula. Like, the prayer is a very, very essential aspect of the Bhakti Yoga. At every step, a devotee actually takes shelter of the Supreme Lord. So in this connection, I would like to narrate one nice pastime of Samudra Manthan. So all of you know this pastime of Shir Sagar Manthan, Samudra Manthan. So in this pastime, there are two parties that are there: demons and the demigods, Devatas and the Asuras. So like these two parties are there. And what happens, when the demons became very powerful, so then the Devatas, they lost their kingdom, and they went to Supreme Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu told, see, the time at this point is favoring the demons. No, time also favors, in Bhagavad Gita also you will find that certain times favor the mode of ignorance, certain time favors mode of passion, and certain time favors mode of goodness. In a particular day itself, these three divisions are there. No, early morning Brahma Muhurta time, no, it favors mode of goodness. The daytime it favors mode of passion, and nighttime it favors mode of ignorance. And in a broader sense also, you will find these three things happens. Sometimes dharma flourishes, and sometimes the adharma actually flourishes. Why? Because this material world is created for everybody's playground, and if it is only dharma flourishes, it's not a fair playground. You know? So like people who want to do adharma, they don't have any choice. No, they don't have any option. So Krishna is such a personality. You want whatever you want, I will give you a time frame. I will give you a facility. You can try whatever you want. No, so all that's a fair playground. No, he actually gives. So now this different times actually favors. So then Krishna tells to the devatas, you see, like right now the time is not in favor of you. So now you cannot go and fight. No, now you go for what is that? Peace treaty, no, samjhauta, no. So you go for something like that. And what is the thing? Like Krishna gives a plan also. He tells that, you see, no. You go and convince the demons, no, for churning of the ocean, milk ocean, and you tell that, no, I have told this plan, and if you churn the milk ocean, you will get nectar, no, you will get amrita, and in that way both of you will be powerful, no, like whoever drinks amrita, so they will become powerful. So now in this scheme, like now Krishna tells that you bring Mandara mountain, you bring Vasuki, you bring you put it in the milk ocean and then you churn. So it's a very simple thing. Okay, now we can do it. These devatas are quite powerful people. So when then they went and they approached, and Bali, Maharaj Bali was the a king of Asuras at that point in time. So he is also a very well behaved person. He is also a devotee of the Lord. So later on, Maharaj Bali's, this one Vamana's interaction actually happens. So but then he also agrees. No, the moment he hears that it is the plan of Lord Vishnu, so immediately he agrees for it. And then all of them, they come and they pick up the Mandara mountain. And then after they moved for certain distance, they are not able to handle. So the mountain actually crushes them. So immediately devatas, they take shelter of the Lord. So they pray to the Lord, and the Lord comes, he picks it up and he puts it in the ocean. And then Vasuki was brought, and then they started churning. So then the mountain starts sinking into the ocean. So then they again pray to the Lord. So then the Lord comes as Kurma, and he becomes the base of the ocean. So he becomes the base of the mountain, and then that is there. And when they are like churning further, so it is not having the balance. It is going this side and that side. The mountain is not having the balance. So then again they pray to the Lord, and then he comes and sits as Ajita on top of the mountain, to give the pivotal force, to have the churning motion to happen. So then after that, like after a lot of effort, still nothing is getting produced. So then they are becoming tired. So then the Lord comes and then he starts churning. And then finally, like when the nectar is brought, that Lord's incarnation, Dhanvantari, he actually brings about the nectar. And then the demons snatch away the nectar. Again they pray to the Lord. So the Lord comes as Mohini, and then he brings the nectar back to the devatas. And in this way, like in this pastime, we can see at every step, we see that the devatas taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. It's a very, very important principle, that at every point in time, we need to know that we need to have the shelter of the Supreme Lord to achieve whatever we need to do. So that's a very important thing that is there. Yes, Po, you raised hand.
Just quite small now. So every time this devatas are praying to the God, right? So God can say, we have given you mind and all, and why you don't use that and put or something every time?
Yeah, that's a very nice thing. So like that's exactly the policy that the demons take. Like the demons know whatever, even if they go to the Lord and pray for, so they will say that whatever I have prayed for, you just give it to me. That's it, and you take care of yourself, I'll take care of myself. So that's the aspect of this one. Here the devatas, they put all their capacity, all their strength, effort, mind, intelligence, everything, and then they come to the point that beyond this point I cannot cross. So at that point they take shelter of the Lord. So they are grateful. When they are using the God-given facilities, they are grateful, and when they are not able to they're not able to cross over, with their limited capacities, then they take shelter of the Lord. In fact, there is another question also we can ask, that if the Lord has made this arrangement, why he has made this arrangement so, so insufficient that every step they have to take shelter of the Lord, right? So the main reason is that, like, the Lord's main problem from the Lord's perspective, if we see, like, if more we think about the Lord, Lord is like the fire, and if we more, like, the Srila Prabhupada gives a nice example of keeping the iron rod in the fire. So if you keep the iron rod in the fire, it picks up the fiery qualities, right? So the Lord is a supreme pure, and if we are in touch with the Lord, we will become purified and we can go back to the spiritual world. But the problem is nobody ever asks for the Lord. Nobody ever calls for the Lord. So Lord creates all these things so that, like, his sincere devotees, he can actually call to the Lord and then take more association and go back to the spiritual world. So that's the reason, like, he creates this kind of arrangements, where his sincere people, like, he it gives the impetus, to pray to him, like that. So that's a aspect of the devotional service where we find ourselves dependent on the Supreme Lord. In fact, if you technically also analyze our capacities, we as the spirit soul, we have the capacity to desire. And then just before, like, we discussed the shloka, Prakrite kriyamanani gonai karmani sarvasa. So this material body is a vehicle created by this material nature. So this body is a vehicle created by the material nature. And imagine, like, how many of you travel by cabs provided by the company?
Everyone.
Provided by the company. So can you ask the cab to go in a different direction? No, I want to go to my relative's house and then thoda mall ghoom ke aise jayenge and things like that. No, you cannot, right? So that you have the facility to go from your home to office, office to home, but then the cab will follow a path which is directed by someone else, right? So in the same way, this body is also, like, though I am sitting in this body, I am the prime person who is the traveler in this body, but this body will not listen to us. This body will listen to only the dictations of the three modes of nature, and which is ultimately controlled by the Supreme Lord, right? So this body is just like that cab, where you are going from your office to home, home to office. Like, here we are given an impression that we are in control. Okay, you do so much of pious activities, you will get a healthy body, you will get a healthy mind. You can think in these different ways, and you can execute in these different ways. Now, for example, if I am lifting this book, so what all things are happening here? I have a desire to lift this book, and like, the Lord gives me a sanction, the Paramatma, Anumanta, Anumanta Upadrishta. So in that shloka we see, like, Anumanta is a permitter. The Lord permits and the material nature executes. Like, many of you might have seen in big corporates, how does the payment processing happens? So, like, if some payments have to be realized, so then you have to make a, like, invoice, and then that has to be approved by a particular authority, and the accounts department will disperse it, right? So exactly the same thing is happening here as well. So I have the desire to lift the book, and the Supreme Lord sanctions it, and the material nature executes it. So we are all the time, we are at the mercy of the Lord. On our own, we don't have any property. Like, all these things, Bhumi Rapa Anala Vayo Kammano Buddhirevacha Hankara Mitiyame Binna Prakriti Rashtada. So these 8 things, earth, water, fire, air, ether, all these things are Krishna's energy. It's not my energy. It's like, my hand means I don't need to take permission from anybody. Like, I can just use my hand as I want. So, but then earth, water, fire, air, ether, it's all Krishna's energy. So it will work only on the direction of the Krishna, not under my direction. So Krishna just gives me a facility to imagine myself that I am doing things. That is why this one comes. Ahankara vimudatma kartahamiti manyate. So out of illusion only we think that I am doing things. But actually, all this process is happening in every single action. So that's why a devotee of the Lord, he always feels grateful that I have a healthy body. I'm grateful to the Lord. And whatever facilities is given to me, it's like I'm grateful to the Lord. So that gratitude becomes a very nice, this one for the devotion, right? Because at every moment we are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. So without the mercy of the Lord, we cannot even do our basic actions, And when any one of our actions is paralyzed, that time we can understand, if I am in control, so then why should I not be able to move the body? So it's like, sometimes what is that? In the what is that? Ayurveda, there is a nice phrase, no, like Vaidyo Narayana Hari, no. So that's like original Vaidya is Narayana, because this body is is made of his energies. Only he can actually fix this body. No, he cannot, like the practitioner of medicine. No, he can only assist the Lord. He can only do things. No, so but then ultimately we need the mercy of the Lord. No, to actually get this thing ready, right? Okay. So now we'll get back to our topic. Now we have, gone a little around, but then it is a very good, important, basic principle, for us to understand, right? So this is like, so now we were talking about this question of Arjuna, that even though I don't want to do certain thing, but still I'm doing it as if pulled by force, So what is that force? That is like, Krishna is explaining, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of material mode of passion, right? So then, so due to independence, service attitude is transformed into propensity for sense enjoyment. That is the source of the lust. And the solution is the lust and wrath rightly engaged in satisfying the Supreme Lord, right? So one has to, like this very nice solution that Acharyas actually give. So they say that Kama Krishna Karma Arpane and Krodha Bhakta Dveshi Jane. Like, so like our desires, if we engage in the service of the Supreme Lord, so then that becomes nicely transformed, and then it goes to the side of love of Godhead rather than in the form of lust. And then Krodha Bhakta Dveshi Jane. So like here Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Arjuna and Hanuman. So Arjuna actually fighting without anger is not possible, right? So Arjuna used his anger for, like, in the service of the Lord. Hanuman also used his anger in the service of the Lord, right? So anger is not completely not possible to be put off. No, it is not possible. But then it can be used in the service of the Lord, in the right way, like it can be used. So in this way, like we see that, these two things, when it is rightly utilized, it actually, solves the problem. It actually helps us come out of the, effects of material nature. So then in the next shloka, 38, Krishna actually mentions, as fire is covered by smoke, as mirror is covered by dust, and as embryo is covered by womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of the lust. This is something that he mentions. The material covering over the living entity is of different thickness. And so what all the different thickness that he is telling? Smoke is covering the fire. So what kind of a covering it is? So when the smoke covers a fire, still we can understand that beneath that there is fire is there. Because the fire's illumination is so amazing that it penetrates the smoke and it actually comes out, and we can actually see there is some smoke, there is some fire over there. There is some identification is there. And the mirror covered by dust. So here, when a mirror is completely covered by dust, sometimes we may be illusioned that there is no mirror over there. But then dusting is little bit easier. The covering is like so this one that we cannot identify the object beneath, but then dusting process is easy. And then the third example that he is giving is embryo covering the womb. So that is like very, very thick. We cannot understand what's there within, and it takes 9 months to come out, the baby to come out, right? So it is like quite difficult to understand. So now we see that these different kinds of coverings that are there. So now the soul, you can imagine that the fire is the soul. The soul's qualities. Now, what are the qualities of the soul? What are the different qualities of the soul?
Qualities, passion.
No. What are the qualities of the soul?
It cannot be destroyed. Or
Okay, it cannot be destroyed and things like that. Yeah, that's good. Any other visible quality of the soul?
it is not attached.
It's not burn, it's not fire.
Okay, it changes bodies. Okay. So like our identity. We can say like our identity, though the body is changing, the sense of I that remains, it actually comes from the soul. The identity comes from the soul. Okay. Anything else? Any other symptom?
Soul is eternal.
Okay. Soul is eternal, body is temporary. And any visible thing that we can relate with?
It is trying to find the
It's
connection
a light.
with the Lord.
Light.
No. Soul is a conscious entity. No. So wherever, if I'm talking to somebody and they're responding, that means there is a soul. Like it's a conscious entity. I can have a conversation with, with a person, right? So in that way, like we see that this qualities of the soul, like feeling, like if I scold this TV, no, it will not become angry. But if I scold a person, he'll become angry, right? So compassion, these qualities, different qualities, no, anger, no, compassion, kindness, no, all these different kinds of things, right? And hunger. Hunger is a quality of, if there is a presence of soul, then there may be hunger, no, all these things. So now you see, like when the covering of the material nature becomes thicker and thicker, these qualities will become manifest very lesser and lesser, no. So now you see, like human beings, they have many different ways of expression, and we can, they are much more polished and things like that. And the animals, which are, compared to the second level, that is the mirror covering the dust, dust covering the mirror. So that's in the level of animals. Their expressions and their the capacity of the soul, if you see, that's very less expressed. And then if you see the tree, tree, like it cannot even say that it's too sunny a day, like I want to get into a room or something like that. It just stands over there. It's like very inert and dull. So when the covering of the lust becomes too strong, then the living entity become more dull and dull. And when the covering of the lust becomes very thin, then the living entity become, all the capacities of the living entity is very nicely manifested. So that's how the human beings, where the covering of the lust is very thin. Animals, the covering is little more. And then the trees and plants, so they are like having very thick covering. So this something that Krishna is explaining. So this is how we are tightly locked up within this cage kind of a thing. So where our original qualities itself is like hampered, it is not allowed to come out. That's what Krishna is actually mentioning here. So and so by carefully handling the fire, so this is one example that Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, it can be made to ablaze. By proper training, under able guidance, one can conquer this enemy called lust. So that's possible in the human form. The example that is given is the fire and the smoke. And if we kindle the fire nicely, it can be made to come out ablaze, and it can actually come out with all its illuminating qualities. That's how the proper training can actually help. That is something that Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here. And then the text number 39, the next sloka, Krishna is mentioning, Avrutam jnanam etena jnanino nitya vairina kama rupena kaunteya duspurena analena cha. So here Krishna is mentioning that this avrutam means, in Sanskrit, the avrutam means covering. Avrutam, what it covers, what this enemy actually covers, avrutam jnanam etena. So it covers the intelligence of the person. So this material nature or the lust actually covers the intelligence of the person. And then like this lust is given some adjectives. So the adjectives, jnanino nitya vairina. Vairina means what? Enemy. Vairina means enemy. So this lust is called as jnanino nitya vairina. He is an eternal enemy of the intelligent people. Why? Because he covers the intelligence. That's the primary job he does. Covers the intelligence. Kama rupena kaunteya. So this this entity called kama. So duspurena analena cha. So this is very amazing point that Krishna is mentioning here. So you think that, okay, kama, what is the meaning of kama? Sense gratification. Okay, so it is demanding, okay, like, it is demanding me to eat more. Fine, like, I will eat. So will my desires be satisfied? Will all my desires be satisfied? No, it just puts more desires for eating. It is not that it is going to satisfy my desire. Maybe at this point in time my stomach is full, but the next day again I am thinking that, oh, that taste was so nice, like I need to have more of it. Until the time I become a rogi, and the bogi actually continues. So that is like a problem. Anything that I come in contact with in the material nature, it is not that whatever it demands, you supply it and it is going to say, okay, fine, now I am satisfied. No. Here the example that Krishna is giving is, it is like pouring fuel into a fire. So will the fire says like, no, itna fuel kafi hai, like, no, I am satisfied. No, it will just keep on consuming and consuming and consuming. That is the nature of this lust, right? So one nice Vaishnava poet, he actually mentions a very, very nice funny shloka. He puts it, but it's very serious and very relatable. He says that kama adinam katina katita palita durnideshas tesham jatamai na karuna na tripa no pashanti. So he says that this kamadinam, so kamadinam means kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada and matsarya. No, this is like any yogi, if you ask who are your enemies, no, he will say, no, these are the 6 things. No, if somebody comes and puts any problem in his, in his execution of duties or something like that, and then you ask him who are your enemies, he will not point that person. Like, no, mera karma hai, like, no, I have to face something, he is just delivering my karma. So then who are your enemies? No, he will say, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada and matsarya. No, lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, no, illusion and things like that. So these are my real enemies. So one has to rightly identify his real enemies, no, and then solve the problem. So if I have a lot of punya, so this is also mentioned, like Prahlad, when Prahlad was under the custody of Hiranyakashipu, he was put through so much of trials. He was put through so much of difficulties. And then, Hiranyakashipu is seeing that this guy is not getting even a least bit, affected by all these treacheries. So he is asking Prahlad, like, why are you not, why are you always happy? So why are you like, no, I'm putting you through so much of troubles. No, why are you happy? Like, how are you happy? So then this one, like Shukadeva Goswami, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, he actually answers that question. He says that Prahlad doesn't have any sinful credit in his in his baggage. How can he be like suffering? No, there is no possibility of he suffering. So like there should be at least some little bit of sin that should be there for him to suffer. So जितना भी लोग उसको दुख पहुंचाना चाहते हैं, but he can never be miserable because like he doesn't have any sin in his credit. So to suffer, I need to have some sin in my credit. Otherwise, anybody can try any much. No, I cannot suffer. No, because if I don't have sin in my credit, then I cannot suffer. So in the same way, if I don't have punya in my credit, so then how much ever I try, I can never be happy. So that is this one. That's the logic over there. So in this way, like a yogi will say that if there is some difficulty I am facing, that's simply because of my karma. And my real enemies who are forcing me to do the sinful activities and then giving me all these sufferings are this kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada and matsarya. These are my real enemies. And then this Vaishnava poet is telling, kamadinam katina katita palita durnideshas chetam tesham jatamai na karuna na trupa no pashanti. I have been a very, very loyal servant of these kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada and matsarya. And these masters of mine, they have never been merciful to me. They have never told, itna kaam kiya tumne, like, ek din chutti le lo. No, they have never given me even one day of holiday. And they have never, like, always I render nice service and then I ask, Master, are you satisfied with this service of mine? No, ye theek nahi hai, aur karo. So like, this is not sufficient, you have to do more. So this is how they have been, like, treating me. And then he says that, very recently I found out that there is service to the Supreme Lord is very, very amazing. And then I've started rendering service to the Supreme Lord and I've been very happy and peaceful. So and things like that. So he actually mentions this one. So this enemy of the living entity, this kama rupena, so it's like it burns like fire and it is never satisfied. It is not that I will satisfy the material desires a little bit and then they will शांत हो जाएंगे, उसके बाद हम कृष्ण भक्ति करेंगे. No, ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा. So the material desires is going to flare like the fire. It is not going to be satisfied. So the sense gratification means increasing the duration of material life. While one enjoys sense gratification, it may be that there is some feeling of happiness, but actually that so-called feeling of happiness is the ultimate enemy of the sense enjoyer. It is like, kabhi aisa udaharan diya jata hai, like there is a snake. Snake is dangerous, but then snake which has a money on its head is more dangerous. Why it is so?
It has some powers.
Okay, any other?
We cannot use it.
People get greed. They get attracted to that snake. It attracts and it kills. That's a problem, right? It's not an ordinary enemy. It just attracts you and then it kills. So that is how this one is. The sense of enjoyment that a person gets in sense gratification. Just like, imagine a diabetic patient and then he likes to eat sugar. And this sense of enjoyment is his actual enemy. It actually attracts him and makes him eat more sweet, and then he actually we had one instance of that thing, very sad situation. Like one of our devotees, like in maybe 15 years back, so he was our pujari in our HBR layout temple, where this Gandharvika Giridhari deities are there. So he's from Bengal, West Bengal. So West Bengal, like people like to eat rice a lot, and he had actually diabetic. He was diabetic, and doctor told that you should not eat rice. You should eat only rotis or something else. But rice you cannot touch. But he was, right from childhood, he has been accustomed only to eat rice, and he was not able to give up. So he told that even if I die, I'll eat rice and I'll die, and literally it happened. So it's like what is that? It's quite difficult, for. Yeah, so that's the nature of this sense gratification. This nature of the lust is like that. It attracts a living entity, and it actually puts a living entity in trouble. So then the next shloka, it is very, very nice shloka. Now Krishna starts giving the solution how to handle this particular problem. He says, Indriyani mano buddhir asyadhisthana muchyate eter vimohayat yesa jnanam avritya dehinam. So like Krishna is mentioning that how this lust actually works on the body, works on a living entity. Now he gives the strategic ways of working. So if you want to find an antidote, we need to find what ways it is actually working. So like most of your software engineers probably if you want to solve a bug, you need to know the root cause of the bug. So that is when you can actually solve it. So the very same thing. Krishna is explaining now the root cause. How is it actually acting? So that he is mentioning. Okay. So how is it actually acting? He is mentioning. He is telling that the senses, mind and intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. So now where are the strategic places the lust actually sits? That Krishna is describing. Where all the places? Which all the places? Senses, mind and intelligence. So Indriyani mano buddhir. So these asya adhisthana muchyate. Adhisthana means the sitting places. So the lust actually sits on these three places, and if we regulate these three places, no wonder if you take any of the yoga system, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, whatever yoga system you take, ultimately they'll talk about regulating these three things. Regulation of the senses, regulation of the mind and regulation of intelligence. So this is why, because the root cause is sitting there. That is the place from which the material nature is actually acting on us, and if we can actually regulate these three places, we have actually conquered the enemy. So that's why these three places are always the points of regulation, right? So Krishna is mentioning that the enemy has captured different strategic positions in the body of the conditioned soul, and therefore Lord Krishna is giving hints of those places so that one who wants to conquer the enemy may know where he can be found. This is a very nice thing that Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. So he mentions that if we know the places of the enemy, so then we can attack the enemy. That's possible. So the senses, mind and intelligence, right? So now the next shloka, here Krishna is mentioning tasmat tvam indriyani adau niyamya bharatarshava papmanam prajahi enam jnana vijnana nashanam. So he is telling that, therefore, O Arjuna, best of Bharatas, in the very beginning curb this great symbol of sin called lust by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. So this is a very important point, which whenever devotees they start practicing the principles of Bhagavad Gita or any yoga system, so the common people around in this world, they will say this is a life meant for enjoyment. Why are you curtailing all these things? Why are you limiting yourself? You have desires. Why are you controlling those desires and things like that? So life is meant for enjoyment. Why do you have to control yourself like this? So what's your answer? What is the answer to that?
The desires can never be fulfilled. It will always keep on.
Okay, that's a nice answer. Anything else?
It's always better to follow a path rather than being pathless.
Okay, that's also nice.
This life is to utilize properly and go back to Godhead, not for our own enjoyment.
Okay. So that and all they may not be able to relate with.
Okay.
Okay. So when in this life also, when we are asked to restrict some things in our life.
Age of period or in a time?
I mean, you said na, it is like
At which event, occurrence of a certain events, we are asked to control. Even the materialistic people also will say.
Festivals.
Huh?
What's harming you?
Okay, harming you. Any more specific answer?
Something bad.
festival.
Any problem comes.
Okay.
To improve your life.
Improve your life. Specifically when sickness comes. When sickness comes, so doctor advises, no, you should be under a patya. No, like you should be under a regulation. No, you cannot eat anything and everything you want. So you, till the time you get cured, no, you eat in a particular way, right? So in that way, like this one is that, like our position in this material world.
So Prabhuji, to make a child disciplined, parents also put some kind of boundaries.
But it is against their desire, no?
Yeah, that is
It's against their desire. So, but here willingly they have to accept. The doctor is telling, "Nahi to mar jayenge tu," So then the patient actually follows, Like when he listens to the rules and regulations of the parents, it is good. No, else he will become sick and he will be forced to follow the regulation. So like that, it actually comes. So here also we see that we understand, like in the material world, people actually understand that they are healthy and they are meant to enjoy. So spiritualist actually understands our original position is the spiritual world. That's where I am completely free. Now I am here bound. Like the capacity of the soul. You see, like what all the different things that various living entities do. The birds fly. Where does this capacity come from?
God. So
Even that capacity is there in the soul. So like this one, aquatics actually swim in the water. Where does that capacity come from? That's also there in the soul. Like all the different capacities that we are seeing, it's all coming from the soul. The soul has immense capacities, but right now I am curtailed. I am not able to use all my capacities. So it is, if I am not able to use my capacities, it's a sign of sickness. I am actually sick. It is like this one, the scriptures actually call it as bhava roga. So material disease. So when I am in the diseased condition, this is not the right place for me to enjoy. I should get liberated and I should go back and I should enjoy. My real enjoyment should be like completely free from the control. That is when I can really enjoy, right? So that is the whole point, that we are in a position where we are diseased, and in the diseased condition we should not be eager to enjoy, rather we should be eager to solve the disease, and then once for all we should enjoy. That's the whole point. So there is no, like if people say that the spiritualists, they are all, they don't know how to enjoy life, so they don't go to like different avenues of enjoyment and things like that. So then the answer of the spiritualist is that you are doing a very cheap enjoyment. We are aiming for a bigger enjoyment. So like Anandamaya Abhyasat. This is a very basic aspect of the Vedic scriptures. Every living entity, its natural desire is to be happy. That's the natural desire of every living entity. So like no living entity or no path, like materialists are trying to do enjoyment in their own way, and the spiritualists are also trying to do enjoyment in their own way, right? So it is not that they are subscribing to a process of subscribing to a process of miserable existence. No, it's not. So one time, like what is that? One of the persons, like who was attending my classes, he came and he put a very pathetic this one, saying that oh, you people have left everything. Oh, like you don't have any enjoyment in life. Then I had to like give him a full explanation and to say that you are not actually enjoying life. I am enjoying life. Right. So that is a very important this one. So time immemorial. We have always seen the sadhus are the most happiest people. Anybody has any difficulty or any distress in life, they always used to go to sadhus, to get happiness, because that's the place of happiness. That's where people are actually happy, right? So in this way, like Krishna actually puts this particular point that so this strategic places, where the lust actually sits. And then he says that tasmat tvam indriyani adav. So one should regulate these three elements, right? So this is what he's telling in the shloka number 41. So he's telling that curb this great symbol of lust, great symbol of sin called lust, by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada actually mentions a nice point. Lust is only the perverted reflection of love of God, which is natural for every living entity. But if one is educated in Krishna consciousness from very beginning, the natural love for God cannot deteriorate into lust. No? So that's the culture. No? Like Indian culture, if you see, like what's the glory of the Indian culture? So right from the beginning, like there is a lot of festivals. No, all of us, no, we have grown. At least, right now the culture is getting destroyed. But at least a generation before, a good amount of culture was remaining. So very nice festivals, God-centric life. No, I remember like when Diwali and all, like crackers and new clothes and all comes. So mother will keep it in the puja room. And I'll say like, no, I have to go out and burst. No, puja karna hai, uske baad hi karna hai. So then, okay, fine, like, no, kya karna hai batao? Like, no, we will do some puja and then, no, I want to burst crackers. But this puts a strong impression that, like, if I want to enjoy, so first I should offer to the Lord and then I'll enjoy, right? So that's a very strong sanskar actually gets created, no? So this is the, like natural Indian culture. The original culture of India is that God-centric life, no? For everything, no, we are depending on the Lord, no, we are glorifying the Lord, and every festival has, no, like some God-centric theme, no, over there. So this is the amazing aspect of this one. So now next shloka. Now, shloka number 42, Krishna is telling, Indriyani paranyahu, indriyabhya param mana, manasastu para buddhir, yo buddhe paratastu saha. So now he is telling, okay, there is strategic places of this enemy is sitting, no? So that is senses, mind and intelligence. But in this, what is the hierarchy? Which is more powerful and which is less powerful? So that Krishna is mentioning here. The working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses and intelligence is still higher than the mind. And then the soul is even higher than the intelligence. No, this is the hierarchy that Krishna is actually giving. So dull matter, so like it is mentioned, the matter in itself has the capacity to inspire us to do sense gratification, right? So now this experience, like for example, if you see a nice ripe mango, what will you feel?
I need to eat.
Feeling to eat, no? And then you pick up the mango and eat. And then you realize that it is a rubber mango. Then what will happen?
Disturbance.
So now, actually it was not a mango. How did you get the desire to eat?
So it's an imagination, intelligence. Imagination. So
Imagination.
Attraction.
It actually, no, this is a very technical, this one. The sense objects are not exactly the objects that you're seeing externally. The sense objects has its image in the mind, no? And then the mind says, okay, this is the sense object, and then this one's like already the saliva is secreting, and then, oh, this is nice mango, I'm going to have it, and things like that. So, but then actually, no, it is not. So the matter in itself has the capacity to inspire sense gratification in us, and then the mind is even more, no? So the senses are even more. The senses are tuned in the material world. The senses are tuned for the sense gratification, and in the spiritual world, the senses are tuned for the service of the Lord. No, natural, like sometimes devotees may say like, no, it's rendering service to the Lord or thinking in terms of Lord's pleasure. No, may be difficult in this life, no, in this current condition. But if we get a spiritual body, no, in the resident of Vaikuntha, no, they have spiritual body. So there it becomes natural, no. So there, no, trying to do sense gratification is a foreign thing for them. No, for us, trying to render service to the Lord is a foreign thing, and it requires regulation and practice and things like that. So there, no, it is completely opposite, no. So the matter in itself can inspire sense gratification, and the senses are also tuned for sense gratification. And then mind is still higher, so as we discussed, the mind has an image or a prototype of the sense object, and the actual sense object actually lies in the mind, and it triggers, it says, okay, it maps the external objects. So this is also a sense object, you can actually go for it and things like that. And intelligence is still higher, and the soul is still even more higher. So now chanting of the names of the Lord, Hare Krishna mantra, it acts on which platform?
Hearing and
It acts on the platform of the senses or a mind or intelligence or the soul. Yeah, it acts on the platform of the soul. That's why it is very powerful. No, it's like intravenous. No, so we have very, very powerful medicine. So when we act on the platform of the soul, naturally the intelligence is controlled, naturally the mind is controlled, and naturally the senses are also controlled. So that's why this chanting is a very powerful process. No, so here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada actually mentions, if the mind is directly engaged in the service of the Lord constantly, then there is no chance that the senses will become engaged in other ways. This mental attitude has already been explained, param drishta nivartate. So that means param drishta means getting a higher taste, no, we will be able to give up the lower taste. No, so if we are just having very what is that? No, dry chapatis and little bit of dry sabji. So if we get some nice tasty prasadam, so then like immediately like we will opt for that, right? So in that way, like if we start developing our taste in the process of devotional service, so then it becomes like very easy for us to like say no to the this one, sense gratification. And then here Srila Prabhupada further says, a neophyte spiritualist is generally advised to keep aloof from the objects of the senses. But aside from that, one has to strengthen the mind by use of intelligence. But even though the soul is the master of intelligence and mind, and the senses also, still, unless it is strengthened by the association of Krishna in Krishna consciousness, there is every chance of falling down due to agitated mind. So now one may ask that no sense gratification at all. So then that is also like very difficult, right? So we have senses, no, we have to gratify. So I have to at least eat, I have to sleep, no, I have to do certain things, no. So how can I do all these things? So then Krishna gives, like, that is the whole chapter of this one. After this, what comes is Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga is like, it is not that you should not bring senses and the sense objects together, but it should be brought together under rules and regulations, no. Like for example, there is attraction between man and women is there. So, but it should not be done unregulated. So there should be the institution of marriage, and only within the marriage the man and women can come together, right? So that's a regulation that Krishna puts. And then if we have to eat, Krishna tells, if you eat more, you will become diseased. If you eat less also, you will become diseased. There is a particular quota that is there, and we have to accept that particular quota, and we have to do it accordingly, right? So when the matter is brought, when the senses and sense objects brought together under the regulation of the scriptures, then it becomes spiritual. No, then it is not called as karma, then it is called as the yoga. No, it actually transforms. So there is a particular way of bringing the senses and sense objects together, and as directed by Krishna, if we indulge in that particular way, so then it doesn't take the shape of a karma. No, so just for an example, if a person kills another person, no, is it a crime? Right? So, okay, now I'll put a context to it. If a military soldier, on the war, he is fighting and killing another person, will he be charged for that? No. So this is under regulation. He is doing that very same activity, but it is under regulation. So then it is rewarded rather than being punished. It is actually rewarded. So that's how this one is. Like, what is spiritual, we need to know. So now, for example, when the arati is performed, so we are taking this one. It is a fire. It's a material element. No, what is the big point? I'm just coming in contact with another material element. So it is, how do you call it as devotional service? But this is devotional service because it is mentioned in the scriptures. If you perform in this particular way, this utilization of matter is devotional service, right? So if you offer nice flowers, to the Lord, and then you take it as prasad, you smell the flowers. After Aarti, you get the flowers. So the flowers first offer to the Lord and you smell it, that's prasad of the Lord, right? So that is like proper. So in this way, when we actually come, when we bring the senses and sense objects together, we should see that it is under the regulation, as directed by Krishna. So then it is not karma, it becomes yoga, right? So it purifies. If without regulation, when we come in contact, it contaminates us and it binds us to the material world. And with regulation, when we come in contact, it actually liberates us and it actually purifies us. That's how the whole this one is. So this is the cultural aspect. So now, when the modern world, the question that comes is, see, why the senses and sense objects come together and we become happy. So if that is the case, why these rules and regulations? Just throw away all these rules and regulations and just enjoy. and it is the most miserable. The modern people are the most miserable people, and they get into the problems of depression, they get into the many health problems and different kinds of things. So but Krishna is telling that yukta hara viharasya yukta karmasa, no, like what is that, anybody knows that shloka, yukta hara viharasya? It's yukta hara viharasya yukta karmashu. Okay, anybody finds that, no, you can let me know. So it's a very nice shloka. In 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, regulate. No, everything is a regulation. No, it's very essential. That is when we can actually be happy. No, unregulated, unrestricted, no, contact of senses and sense objects is always a formula of misery, actually. No, so that is a very important point that actually Krishna drives. Right. So then, last shloka of this chapter, no, he mentions. Okay. Chit. Swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Yoga bhavati dukkha. Yeah. So like regulation, the yukta means like everywhere, no, he is putting this regulation. Yukta ahara, no, like and vihara, like no, recreation, no, regulate that. And then sleeping, no, regulate that. So he is mentioning that everything, no, it is like no, we have to do it under regulation. So then it becomes a source of happiness, and it becomes yoga, and it becomes purifying. So without regulation, the very same activity, like no, people may say like no, you are doing with regulation, I am doing without regulation. So ultimately, like no, by eating process you become happy, and I am also eating, like you are also eating. But no, your eating is different, my eating is different. My eating is going to become, no, going to purify me and no, make me more and more intelligent, and your eating is going to put you through this covering of lust, no, more and more, and it is going to make you like more like dull, no. So that's how the difference is there. So then the last shloka, no, Krishna is mentioning, thus knowing oneself to be transcendental to material senses, mind and intelligence, O mighty armed Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence or Krishna consciousness, and thus by spiritual strength conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. No? So this is what Krishna actually mentions. Right? So this is a very nice section. So now like we will divide into two groups. All of you know the two groups?
First batch and second batch.
No. You know? Okay. So like, no, Prabhuji will guide you, like, know how these groups have to be done. And in the groups, no, you have to discuss certain practical aspects of today's discussion. No, like how we can practically, do certain things where we can go into the path of yoga, and what all things can possibly affect us and can put us into the material cycle. So this these aspect of the covering of the lust, and then how to actually come out of the covering of the lust. What all activities will increase our covering of lust, and what all activities can actually reduce this covering of lust. So this is a very practical thing, and it is not an impractical thing. It is not something that is, as I was mentioning, like if anybody sees a yogi, a karma yogi, or a like practitioner of devotion, and outside person, so they will see that there is no difference at all. He is also eating, he is also sleeping, he is also having a family, he is also having everything. Everything is there. So, but then, like there is something different. Like one person is getting more and more tied up into the material world, another person is in the path of liberation. So how these two things actually functions, and how we can practically apply the practical application of these things, like what all things in our life can put us more binding into the material world, and what all things if we do, it can actually liberate us from this one in the context of today's discussion. So like you can get to know from Hemanga Prabhu, like who are all in which group, and then you can sit in two different circles and you can discuss. So you'll have some 6-7 minutes is okay, so or maybe max to max 10 minutes, and after that one participant from each group will come and present your conclusions. Okay? Hare Krishna. So how will they know their groups? Announce कीजिए.
The same week.
Hare Krishna. First, I will call out the group 1 that is led by our Balaji Prabhu and Pavitra Mataji. So, under the Balaji Prabhu,
Which side they will
call
go?
out the now.
Which side they will go?
They can go on the left side
Huh.
of the Balaji group.
Huh?
This is group 1.
Group 1. Group 1 will assemble this side and group 2 will assemble this
Let
side.
them announce. Let them announce.
Yeah. In group 1, Sunil Mahapatra Prabhu, Shiva Kumar Ji Prabhu, Deepak and Kritika Prabhu, Kunal Dev Prabhu, Mohit Prabhu, Rajesh Prabhu, Pranav Prabhu, Shivraj Prabhu, Priyam Prabhu, Kartik Prabhu, Niket Prabhu, Subrat Sinha Prabhu, Himansh Prabhu, and Shravani Mataji, Payal Pandey Mataji, Dikshita Mataji, Priyanka Panda Mataji, Neha Mataji, B. Thanvi Sital Mataji, Sikha Mataji, Ashish and Maina Mataji, Chandana Mataji, Diksha Mataji. These are the group 1.
Huh? Ha ha.
Only me, eh?
They can go. Who are the names announced?
Yeah, I am there.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they will down this side. Rest of it.
Rest of them are this side or?
But only 2 went, I am also confused.
Ah, means absent maybe.
I was thinking that there is no, in group 2 there is no Prabhu Jail.
Okay. Yeah, group 2 also you can announce.
Yeah, group 2 is led by our Saurav Prabhuji and Mataji, Pragya Mataji. So I'll just call out their names. Durgesh Prabhu, Ritvik Karmakar Prabhu, Ritvik, Syamal Bose Prabhu, Arindam Prabhu, Arvind Prabhu, Prathana Mohan Prabhu, and Satyajit, Bablu Vishwas Prabhu, Ramesh Prabhu, Alpana Karmakar Prabhu, Revant Prabhu, Sukumar Prabhu, Devesh Prabhu, and Roja Mataji, Priyanka Banerjee Mataji, Subrat Kar Prabhu, Shivam Prabhu, Ishan Prabhu, Uttam Prabhu, Shravani Mataji, Kiran Bhuvana Prabhu, Anshul Prabhu, Bhuvana Prabhu. These are on the group 2.
Hey, your name is not there. Group 1 is there. Okay, divides. Anybody's name was not called out? Your name is not there. Ha, Prabhuji's name is there with Prabhuji. You're in group 2. Anybody's name is not there?
Prabhuji's name is
Okay.
Ladies first. Around.
So their name is not there, huh? Huh? Okay. How come their name is not there? You can just check. Maybe you didn't announce properly or. Note whosoever names are not there, you should properly note and put it. Okay.
Actually, from husband-wife, one number is not registered, one number is not registered.
No, you take a note and take that also inside.
Whatever have any doubts or they can come in queries or like that. Anything, I think, whatever is reachable, whatever is discussing, relevant to the advice.
What are the things that is overcome what kind of things will add more to that
Just read someone. We'll discuss that. First one. What it
What I understand, the last community or mostly among the sites, similar senses, our mind and intelligence, we have made this where the last, resides. And what he says that if you trust that our holy
Hare Krishna.
soul, right?
You want clarity?
Yes.
Okay. So again, we will just give a little bit of clarity. So we all studied that this lust is the entity which actually covers the living entity and which actually pulls the living entity to do something wrong. So how to get immune to this lust? So like we found that strategic points, senses, mind and intelligence. These are the three strategic points where this lust actually sits. And the solution is to regulate these three things. So now these three things, how it can negatively it can drag us and we can get entangled into the material things, and how we can use these three things, senses, mind and intelligence, in such a way that we can actually go towards the path of liberation, right? So
this is chapter 3's conclusion and discussion on that. This one is having 16 the chapter, so that's why we got them.
oh no, that's nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with this. You can hijack the whole this thing.
So I think all the people will go for a first inspection and they won't come to people better manner.
Somebody does not know. So let's keep it in we'll go in the language. If somebody is not
Already half the time is over.
So what did you look like?
See, we want discrete points. What if we do, we will get caught up, and what if we do, we will get liberated.
Somebody is taking over liberated also, if you can
One point we can find
This is someone has a hardcore industry. So I just also like to enjoy what is more than required. Then love taken care. Suddenly it is spending like more time. You have to sleep 8 hours, you have to sleep in bed. More than requirements to do. Then going for a more than the same thing will happen to you. Face out any consequences of
doing master is a regulatory
control yourself. You want to take that money and live it like that. So thus you are
See, do it like a rapid fire. Everybody should tell one positive and one negative. No, just go fast.
If those things will start regulating us, and we have to think of jumping into it for one itself, should not be an overnight transformation, but it should be a slow value process. Like being in touch with remote nice association. We can take it maybe just say these four different differently ways we can regulate us.
It's not.
Who's going to take it?
I stay in a good company, staying in a bad company also will get that. How much further I
One more we can also add, we can actually the spiritual,
How we can regulate eating can be regulated
spiritual practice should be done. Be conscious about who is associated. And it's very important. The moment you come there associating with indirectly, no matter how much you do. So that is very important. It is the expectation that something to regulate us.
Group discussion.
Depending on the association with the people, we try to come back and give them the going the people without the regulation, then self-allocation, which I think more expectations feel like the answer. And not make the goal of the next. So these are the issues. How do we get the sample of quality association, following up on the table?
from a very long time, is it about the
Hare Krishna. Oh. You can close that.